Today we're talking to Edilson Osorio, CEO and founder of OriginalMy blockchain. Edilson, thank you so much for joining us. We have a few questions for you. So tell us a little bit about OriginalMy blockchain and the work you do in the blockchain ecosystem.
Okay, well, OriginalMy is an e-governance suite with an end-to-end tools to allow the building of solutions to authenticate digital content, signatures, and people. It's a framework, a horizontal solution. And on top of that, we are building a lot of products and services. Like entities and governments, they can improve the security and the transparency layer. At the same time, they reduce the bureaucracy and save resources to mitigate fraud. In addition, we have legally binding tools where our solutions, they are promoting access to justice, and we are empowering people to participate in democratic decisions. I'll give you two examples. In Brazil, we have tools for preserving evidence, web evidence, and it's being used in superior courts to fight against fake news, defamation, harassment, cyberbullying, and we have more than 8,000 evidence preserved, already preserved, and many hundreds of cases being judged in courts in Brazil. And we have decisions in superior courts saying the tool is able to prove the veracity and the existence of that kind of content on the internet. It is much cheaper and faster to collect the evidence than the traditional institutions we have over there. And in the side of empowering people, we have tools where some NGO built some platform for collecting signatures on public petitions and draft bills. And in Brazil, the Brazilian government already approved 2 bills that started from people. They collected the signatures electronically, digitally, and then they approved the new bills. So we have new laws being created in Brazil. That's why we are saying we are improving the democracy on countries like that.
Great, thank you. So what do you think is the biggest obstacle to widespread mainstream adoption of blockchain and DLT technologies?
In my view, we have 2 main challenges. One of them is user experience in one side, and the other side is regulatory environment. The regulatory environment, we are talking about the governments and building regulations around the blockchain and even on some solutions like digital identities or even cryptocurrencies. And in the other side, we have the user experience, because a lot of companies, corporations, they are building technology without thinking in the customer who will use the solution. And when we think about solutions, it must be customer-centric. So those 2 challenges, the regulatory environment and the user experience, I think they must be solved before having the mainstream adoption, because we need to guide our adopters, our customers to the solution. And that's the why regulatory and user experience must be solved first.
Great, thank you. What specifically should the blockchain ecosystem, and by that I mean commercial entities, governments, and academics, do to help address and overcome those obstacles that you mentioned?
Yeah, for sure, they must work together. They must discuss, they must have a platform to talk about it, the problems, and about the solutions, and build the solutions after mapping the problems. And what's happening right now, they are working like silos or islands, working alone on some solutions for just for an entity, or just for not for the whole industry. And I think they must work together and having a closer conversation about the problems they are trying to solve, and find the solution and build the solution and present the solution to the problem. When I say they are working on silos, we always say, when we talk about blockchain, we are talking about networks. And networks, every network they are a lot of nodes connected together transferring information, sharing information between them. And talking about blockchain, talking about networks, we need to connect all the dots, not working as silos or islands to find the solution just for one agent. And probably better discussions, platforms for discussions, and more broader discussions about the problems.
Great, thank you. That's so true. So, Edilson, where do you see the worldwide blockchain industry in 10 years?
Well, I see blockchain in 10 years, probably just a few flavors of blockchains in the market. And another thing I see, like 10 years ago, we had 10 years, 15 years ago, we had like conferences about internet. Today, we haven't that anymore. We had 10 years ago conference about cloud computing. Today, we hadn't, because cloud computing and internet, they are part of our lives. We can't imagine a startup starting something without going to the cloud. We don't have on-premise, a lot of machines and servers behind your walls, because it's costly for companies to start something. I think it's the same on blockchain as well. We'll have blockchain in many aspects of our lives without seeing. And if we talk about transparency or registering information or transferring any kind of asset, we will have a blockchain doing that work behind. And just a few flavors, not like today we have 2,000, 3,000 different blockchains in the market. We don't need that for sure, but we have some blockchains doing very specific things. Another thing I don't believe we will see in 10 years, one blockchain doing everything, but we will see very specialist blockchains doing specific work for some industry or some very specific thing.
Great, thank you. And tell us, what use cases are you most excited about coming online in the next year or two?
Yeah, in the next year or two, I see the digital identity, the decentralized digital identity. Many governments and even institutions, they are working with traditional digital identities. But when you have a traditional digital identity, you must have an external agent to link assets to your identity. And when we talk about blockchain identities, all the assets will be on your identity. And we don't need to talk about cryptocurrencies or tokens. We can talk about graduation certificates, your vehicle, your house, and even the position in the company you work will be on your identity, stored with you. And being decentralized, we mean your assets will be stored with you without a central point of failure. Like governments and corporations, they are leaking information and sensitive data all the time because they are a central point for hacking. The hackers go to the place where all the information is stored. And when we talk about digital identity, we can distribute those assets and attributes of people to the people, having even a decentralized network of validation to validate the thing is with you, your data, your attributes are stored with you, and you can choose for whom you will deliver your data. So the digital identity will disrupt very soon a big part of our market, and I really believe everything will start with digital identity.
Great, thank you. What blockchain projects are you working on that you think will improve major systems and services?
I believe on what OriginalMy is doing. We believe e-governance can have the benefits earlier using blockchain. With the digital ID, with digital signatures, with notarization of documents. We have even, like in Brazil, we have a partnership with a notary. Brazilians don't need to go to a notary to authenticate documents anymore because we can pre-authenticate the documents on blockchain. Then the notary does his part, but after having the document being authenticated first. And it's always related as well to cybersecurity and traceability. Then I really believe e-governance can help the market right now. It's a thing that traditional institutions who works and handles a lot of paper and have a lot of bureaucracy. And because of the bureaucracy, the processes, they are costly to those companies and even to people in the end. And improving the governance can help everything right now. And like OriginalMy is ready for helping that field.
Great, thank you. So last question for you. What role do you think INATBA plays in the global blockchain ecosystem?
In my view, INATBA probably is the only entity today which is capable of connecting all the layers, private and public layers. Because INATBA can talk to the regulators, to the government like the European Commission, governments of countries, and can talk to the corporations and companies and even startups like us. Then you as INATBA, you are the place where the discussions, as I said earlier, the discussions can really happen. And it's happening right now. We are promoting a lot of events with government and corporations. They are bringing problems and showing solutions or discussing about the potential solutions to those problems. So I think INATBA is addressing very well the role of being the connection between private and public layers.
Thank you. That's great to hear. Thank you so much, Edilson, for your time. Bye. Thank you.